Well, in the wake of Deflategate into the investigation, some are now asking just how honest are professional athletes?
Yeah, communications and honesty expert and author, Mr. Honesty, Steven Gaffney, joins us now to examine just how truthful the professional sports world is being these days. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I guess we should start with your thoughts on the Brady thing. Is he being honest, or what's your take?
Well, here's the
believe
thing.
him?
Personally, I don't believe him. However, he is guilty, and he's guilty of not turning over email records and cell phone records. And here's what scares me about this situation. It isn't about Tom Brady, but we live in a society in which we're guilty until proven innocent. Think about this. If somebody makes an accusation about you, there's presumed guilt, and we often pile on. But what do we know for sure? In the Tom Wells report, all it says is he's more probably guilty than not. Come on, there has to be a higher threshold than that.
Right, so but when you don't turn over your documents, you don't turn over your text and your electronic communications, it would lead people to believe you have something to hide.
Absolutely, and that's why the work I do and with companies and with individuals is so important, because what we need to do is be much more proactive, and I call it proactive honesty, which is you are proactively honest about issues in full disclosure. Never let our silence do the talking. It's amazing how often people are coached to not say anything, but whenever somebody goes silent, what are we all thinking? They're guilty. Now, they're only guilty of silence, but the problem is in the absence of data, people make things up and they usually go negative. I mean, just think about this. If you ever send an email to somebody and they not return the email, oh, they don't like me, they disrespect or whatever, but who knows? The only facts of the situation is they didn't return your email. True. We are so quick to judge, and what really scares me is we are moving into a society of which we are more guilty till proven innocent, where it should be based on our founding fathers is we are innocent until proven guilty. So we can laugh off about the Tom Brady stuff. We could say, he's a millionaire, he's successful, he's still going to make it to the Hall of Fame. But you got to look at where we're headed, and it's very critical that we develop these skills about being forthcoming and not let our silence do the talking.
But isn't part of that our media today, social media, that again, there is so much immediate conversation with everything that we no longer wait for the 6 and 10, 6 and 11 newscast to find out the information. If it's not there right now, we're going to begin to assume that, and if enough people assume, social media is where a lot of that begins, not blaming it, it is what it is, that's where the rhetoric begins, and that's where the dialogue is written.
Absolutely. But a couple things. First of all, we live in an age of now, which actually everybody jumps the gun. But again, what's really happening? Second thing that we need to consider is look at how the media and how we all look at things. We base our research, and I don't know about what's happening in this station, but for a lot of the stations, when the economy hit the skids, they wiped out a lot of resources that support you all to double-check things. Sure. And so now, what do? You're left to rely on other people, blogs and stuff like this. Well, we live in a great misinformation age. And the bottom line is, what if it's somebody's reputation and character? So we can laugh off again about the Tom Brady situation, but what if this was either one of you or me? We have to live in a society in which people give us the presumed innocence rather than guilt. So you're right, social media helps in some ways, it exposes, but we live in a great age of misinformation. When we read stuff online, we like, aha. Something else to consider. We look for confirmation, not denial. Think about this. When we read something, we're like, aha. But if we read something that's against, if I wrote something or somebody wrote something that Tom Brady's innocent, they're ridiculous. We read the stuff that supports our existing opinion. So we feed into this, and we also live in a great age of self-righteousness. So we have to be more upcoming. We can no longer manage the message like we can think, and companies need to be sensitive about these issues, and we all need to be.
Interesting. I wish we had an hour.
I know. We didn't get to half of our questions.
Exactly. Join us again sometime, and we'll continue this conversation, because there's more thing I want to talk to you about, but we'll save that for next time. So.
All right.